Welcome to Native Honor Hours. My name is Ed Zendejas.
I'm Cindy Kravka.
This is should we call this our COVID editions?
Yes.
I kind of like these where I'm not in the same room with you.
You know what? You're brave when you're not in the same room with me.
Well, that's how come I like them. Oh, we have our right on cue.
Hey guys.
Our special guest, Mr. Lance Morgan. You know, we were trying to figure out what we're gonna do if you didn't show up. We just had to kill airtime.
Well, let me turn on some more lights, all right? So I don't look like I'm in the dark.
Well, there you go, Ed. Now you don't have to sing.
Yeah, I don't have to get up and dance either.
No one wants to see that.
I know, that's why I don't have to do it.
Yeah, well, I want to save everybody from that.
Yep. You know what? I was thinking you should have invited your dad.
Oh, dear. My mom and dad.
Yeah, he should have his own YouTube channel.
You know, every time I think they can't go any further, they go one step further.
Yeah, and that's what's so enjoyable and unpredictable about it.
Well, you should see the ones that aren't
Ed,
fit for print.
I can't believe Ed knows what a YouTube channel is.
Well, hey, I've been on Facebook long enough. I should say I've known Lance's dad ever since, I don't know, before I knew Lance. I mean, him and his dad and I go back a long time. But anyway, we're glad that Lance Morgan is here joining us today. Want to give him some time. I thought it was a very historic event happened back in November, aside from what other elective things have happened. But there was an initiative on the ballot that passed, and maybe I'll turn some time over to Lance because they don't want to hear me. But we had a gaming initiative that passed, and Lance and his crew was behind getting that on and passed, and now they got what, Warhorse Casino coming up, Lance?
Yeah, that's what we're calling it, the Warhorse. But I work for Ho Chunk Inc. and it's owned by the Winnebago tribe, and we've been trying to do gaming in some form in Nebraska for a long time, but no one's ever given us the time of day. And we bought a horse track a long time ago, sort of to protect the tribe's gaming interest at Winnebago's, their casino in Iowa. And when a license came due in Sioux City, that was our big competitor. We competed for it, but we didn't get it. And because I'm the kind of guy that holds grudges, I said, well, I got this horse track. I'm gonna get them back. That was kind of my plan. And I sort of bumbled through it, and we tried to get horse tracks to be casinos before, but we failed. And this time we went at it a little bit more planned and with a whole lot more effort and capital, actually. We spent quite a bit of money on it. And now we have the right to build, the horse track has rights to build casinos. And South Sioux is a pretty small market. And if we were gonna spend that kind of money, it wouldn't have made sense to do that just for South Sioux City. And so we formed a partnership with the tracks in Omaha and Lincoln. And that's why we're going to have 3 Warhorses, one in South Sioux, one in Omaha, and one in Lincoln. And the Warhorse is just a name we made up.
Whereabouts are they going to be located at in Lincoln and Omaha? Do you have?
Well, in Omaha, in Lincoln, they already have tracks there. And Horseman's Park is the one in Omaha, and it's on 60 something in Q or L or something like that. And then
between Q and Harrison Street.
Yeah, and between 60th and 72nd, I think 63rd. And demographically, it's in a really good spot. It's fairly centered to the population. It's just that it's a little bit hard to get to, so they're wanting to do some stuff on the roads, and it's a little bit limited. And in Lincoln, the Lincoln Race Course it's called, but it's about 5 minutes, 10 minutes south of downtown, on the southwest side of Lincoln. And so they're both pretty good locations. And when the tribe did its first casino, it was 3 miles off the interstate in the middle of a cornfield, and people showed up. So I'm pretty confident it'll do well.
You know what that horse track used to be in Omaha?
Dump?
Yeah, the landfill.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I'm learning all about it right now as we're trying to build this major structure on top of it.
Yeah, I used to work for a roofing company. Yeah, your dad and I have that in common. And I used to make all the dump truck runs over to that landfill there. So it's come a long way since the days of a landfill. But when do you?
So Lance, has it been hard getting stuff done in Nebraska with Ricketts so dead set against you and gambling?
Well, Ricketts has spent quite a bit of money against it in the beginning. And, you know, we've tried to reach out to him, and he hasn't said no, but we haven't arranged anything. I think the tribe wants to talk to him because they have some other issues to talk about with him, I suppose. But, you know, I don't think he was happy about what happened, but he hasn't stopped anything. And, you know, when you have the kind of votes that happened, you know, we got 69%.
Yes.
So I think that speaks a lot about it. You know, I think that speaks a lot. And so he's been cooperative.
Wow. That surprises me because he was virulently against it.
Yeah, in one interview, he said that's why he ran for governor, was to stop gaming expansion. You know, at the time I was kind of teasing him. I said, well, I lost way more money in my TD Ameritrade account than I ever did at a casino, right? So, you know, TD Ameritrade, the stock market, it's a little bit of a gamble all on its own too. But, you know, he's known for delaying Medicaid expansion or Medicare expansion. I'm not sure which one of them. And but he hasn't done that in this instance. So I think that a lot of people who even don't support gaming support the increased tax revenue. And, you know, some of it will come at the expense of Nebraskans, but mostly it's going to come at the expense of Iowa.
Yep.
Because everyone's going over there right now anyway. And so I think that in the Omaha area, we got somewhere around 75% of the vote, and Sarpy County was 79 on some instances. And getting 79% of anybody to agree to anything is near impossible these days. Near impossible.
You know what did it for me, and not that I wasn't going to vote, I was going to vote against it, but what sort of fired me up was the usual. This happens every time this issue comes up. Is you know, the tribes are the boogeymen, and you know, the mafia is going to take hold, and we're going to have casinos next to churches and convenience stores, and blaming tribes are going to do all kinds of bad things, and you just get tired of that, and that really was a factor that, you know, it fired me up. And I even mentioned it on our show whenever we had that here. We talked about some of those issues, but you always get, whenever a tribe wants to do something outside of the normal parameters of a reservation, everybody gets all fired up, and we become
we've spent years trying to build up who we are, you know, and we're a well-known company in Sioux City, one of the largest ones here. But in Omaha and Lincoln, you know, not necessarily. And, you know, there was an element of race card being played, you know, in some of the anti-gaming, you know.
It was a big element.
Yeah. Here's the problem though. You know, I mean, I'm not a Fox News watcher, except I watch it occasionally to see what everyone's thinking, I'm not a supporter of that sort of, you know, I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Trumpian, that sort of thing, but I like to watch to see what people are thinking. And I've noticed that people were getting really touchy on the racism issue on there, you know. So as mad as I was about what was going on with the mailers that had the anti-Indian stuff, I knew that if I got too indignant about it, that it would turn off a certain number of the voters. And so I just kept to the message. And then, you know, there were some articles written about it where I didn't have to say anything, where I had to show outrage or anything. I just kept trying to keep on a positive message because I knew it would actually make it worse. And so as hard as it was for weeks, you know, I just held my tongue. And we had an advertising that said 400 million a year went to Iowa. And I said, well, let's count it up. And it added up to 9 billion. I said, let's put that out there instead since the gaming opened, you know. And so we kept sticking to our message.
I think that's successful. I think when you don't take it personally and just keep calm and keep carrying on, they have nothing to fight. It kind of puts their fire out.
Well, you said keep calm and carry on. That's like a British phrase. And I had watched the movie Brexit, and they're the ones that had that bus going around that said so many millions a day go to Europe or something. So that's where we came up with the 9 billion. We stole the idea.
So how far along are you to opening up the doors on this? You still got buildings to build and roads to fix?
Well, the night we won, I felt really good. But on the way home from sort of the watch party, I was thinking, oh my goodness, we have a lot to do. And so, you know,
now you got to do something, right?
Yeah. And we didn't know it would pass. You know, we had polling that showed 63%. And then when this anti-native stuff came out, we dropped into the low 50s, and we didn't have time for another poll after that. But we doubled down on our message, and so did they. and we ended up getting 65 and 69. So we did not know we would win. There was no point when we knew we would win. We had to get the signatures, but it was COVID. We had to get them certified and we got denied. We had to go to court and we won 4-3. Then we had to win the election. And so spending money on the architects and all the other stuff that goes into it, we didn't, it taxed the resources of Ho Chunk Inc. just to do what we had done. And so we started the next day on the design side of the equation. And then the legislature is now, the unicameral's in place. And so we've got to get a few of the regs in place. And so what's happening all at the same time is the design, the cost estimates, the regulatory side, and the financing side. And that's all happening right now. And what we're hoping is if everything goes really well, which is going to be hard to do, but we've already pulled off multiple miracles, we'll get started here in a few months and start construction.
With construction or the?
Construction. We can probably do a temp facility in Lincoln for sure. Omaha, I don't know if it would handle it. So we can get going probably fairly quickly in Lincoln, but we got to get licensed. And every license is $1 million. So it's just, it's just a lot of money to do this game. And interestingly, the Winnebago tribe is in a position to do it. We wouldn't have been able to do anything, 25 years ago.
You have a great high school up there. I used to be in multicultural affairs at UNO, and I went up there and recruited. It was amazing. I've never met so many amazing kids with so many opportunities to do things that so many other kids never get. I think that the better you do, the better everyone will do. I think it's an amazing opportunity.
We're sort of a company town in some ways. The tribe's casino is what stimulated it, and we got the money from them to get going. But the casino itself is struggling. When we lost that license, they built a big casino in Sioux City, and that was our market. And we'd already took a hit from the Iowa casinos back in the 90s when they built those ones in Council Bluffs. And so, we've been getting our lunch ate by everybody, really Iowa entities, for the last 25 years. And it had reached a point where it was actually very critical. And with COVID, we really struggled, and that's a main driver of the government of funding and jobs and those kind of things. So this really helps step in at just the right time. And the seed for Ho Chunk Inc. was planted in '95, and the goal was to do this someday. We didn't know what form it would take, but it was to provide self-sufficiency for the tribe. And we're starting to step into that role right now. Well, we had a great year, by the way, even though it was COVID, we had a record year.
You said you wanted to take revenge out on, what was that? Is it Hard Rock in Sioux City?
Oh yeah, I told the owner even. I said we're gonna build one in South Sioux. We're gonna take your profits, and then we'll buy you on the cheap. It's a tough road to get revenge, but
I was gonna say you went through an awful lot.
Went to a lot. Well, the Council Bluffs casinos, when they built those, one in Vegas laid off 200 workers, and our profits dropped by 80%, and nobody cared. Right at one point, Iowa said, "Well, you can come down here, and we need jobs." They need porters and dealers. I said, sweeping your floor is not what our future is going to be. That's not the plan for the Winnebago people. And so we've been hanging on and figuring out ways to grow ever since. And the fact that we have an entity of our scale in the community is big. So you have to understand, this is a rural town, a couple thousand people, and when we got started, we didn't have that many college 4-year degree people. And now we have a company there. And last year we did $308 million in revenue, and we have 1,500 employees. So it's just, it's just sort of a phenomenal story. And you would think that what I've tried to tell people is that we're just going to keep doing our very existence, keep doing what we've done. Our very existence is based on taking gaming money and reinvesting it into economic diversification. So the fact that we're about to get into gaming, and we're from Nebraska, and we're all about keeping the money in Nebraska, we're going to take this money that we make, hopefully, and put it right back into the state and the community. And there's some neat things we're going to announce coming up here soon on local restaurants. We're trying to find some local breweries to, contest, keep the money in Nebraska, just to give people a chance to be part of the casino, and the business. And something else we're doing is we're breaking off some of the big contracts into small contracts so that some of the minority contractors and small businesses will have a chance to be able to do it.
Right on. Good.
You mentioned employment. What type of employment numbers can we tell our community? Because I know I've seen a lot of people saying that they want to go to work for you at this new casino.
Maybe we're going to need, I think it's going to be about 400 at each one, and then maybe a little less in South Sioux. And then there's going to be a lot of ancillary jobs that are going to be a part of that. But there's also going to be a lot of construction activity that's going to happen. You know, both of these projects are going to be over $200 million.
Wow.
They're huge, huge, huge things. But I got to take a note. It just reminds me I'm supposed to send somebody some construction cost numbers. Sorry, I got to make myself a note.
It shows kids they can do it. It shows, you know, it shows a thriving tribe. All good for the future.
We want it to be more than just dealers, right? Remember the story I told you? You know, the guy running our organization's a tribal member. He's been involved in gaming a long time. You know, we're looking for management people, you know, marketing people, accounting people, and you don't have to be native. You know, Winnebago. You know, we're running out of those, right, with the skill sets. But you know, I told somebody we had sort of a racial incident in one of our construction companies. Somebody was being difficult, really racist to our Hispanic employees, and I apologized to him. I brought a translator, and I said, anybody who is who's going to take care of their family and does what it takes deserves respect. I don't care who you are, man, woman, color, anything. And if you don't give that person respect, you will not work here. And I had fired those guys, and then I gave them all donuts, you know, to make sure they knew I was serious. But I said, you know, and guess what, guys? Being a little bit brown doesn't hurt in this company, right? And then I walked out. And so I just think, you know, we've never been in a position of power, you know, where we get to make our own decisions, you know. So how you use that power.
You know what, you've led a statewide campaign now, because this had to go statewide.
Yep.
You know what that means?
Lance Morgan for governor.
Oh, jeez. I'm trying to retire.
Lance Morgan for senator.
You know, I had been approached about some stuff like that, and I don't want to be the guy that gets close and loses. You know, if I do something, I get super obsessive, and I worry about Democrats in the state. You know, so I think that maybe if we can prove that we can get stuff done. If you look at the history of Democrats in Nebraska that have done well, it's always been somebody who's business oriented.
Yep.
And sort of, you know, and you know, I joked one time, there's a guy named Steve King, and you know, he's the congressman up here, and he got kicked out for being sort of anti everything. And he had gave this whole speech on people not working, getting off their couch. And we were trying to get some help from him for some land legislation. And so I went up there and I said, I just wrote a column in the tribal paper saying all the men need to get off their butts and get off the couch and get a job. And I declared myself the Steve King of the Winnebago Reservation. So maybe I am the kind of Democrat that could get elected in Nebraska.
Did you get any help from him?
You know, right. He would have helped us. But he lost power, you know, because they took him off his committees and things like that. And he's as much grief as he's been nothing but helpful to us. So it's a very strange, you know, dynamic as far as I was concerned there, you know, and we treat him well, pay him well.
Well, Lance, we appreciate you coming on and all that you've done for your community and also throughout Indian country. I know you've left a huge footprint in not just Indian country, but throughout you've changed the paradigm of how tribes can think and thrive. And so we appreciate you coming on, and we look forward to maybe you running for calling you senator, governor, president.
I think I just want to be a crabby old man.
I would love to see your dad as your press secretary.
He'd love it too. You know, those videos, he loves, I do these videos. I do videos with my parents. They just tell funny stories. And the first one I did, I wouldn't know what he thought about it, but he loved it because he got like 1,000 views, and he's home taking care of my mom, you know, so he's pretty bored. And so people text him and email him and message him. He loves it. So he said, I'm going viral.
He's going viral.
And you can tell he just doesn't care. He's like, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, do what I want to do, and He just doesn't care. That's what,
My mom was annoyed because she didn't get enough hype in it. I said, "Mom, you've got to quit saying dirty things." You know, and so she's toned it down a little bit, and so now she can. You can. She
well,
plays
like
more
I
of a
said, we,
part.
we appreciate you coming on and hope to hear
Thank you.
updates on
Thank
what's
you.
happening. And
Let me know if you want another one when we get closer. I'd be glad to participate anyway.
you know
Good.
what? I'd love to. Maybe you could take your camera and kind of show us what the facility looks like, and you know, because you've done that with some of your apartments that you've done.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a lot different, bigger. But
Well, yeah, I understand
we've
that.
put videos out there if you want to see them. They're on our.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
you know,
on our Facebook.
if you want to, maybe our crack producer can link some of those up with our page here, and we can send it out.
And
to
is your Facebook page Ho Chunk Inc.?
Well, Ho Chunk does, but mine is Lance Morgan.
Oh, okay, there you
So
go.
I have 5,000 close friends on there.
All right. Well, once again, thanks, Lance, and we'll be in touch, and hopefully we can hook up again when you're a little bit closer to opening up and showing us what it looks like.
Or anytime you'd like to come, we will be happy to have you.
Okay,
If you
well, just
can stand Ed, you're always welcome.
I have great respect for Ed. I've known him a long time.
All right. Well, we'll see you. Thanks, Lance.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Well, Kenny, you got any questions for us or anything?
I'd like to talk a little bit about our knucklehead of the week. Could we do that?
Yeah. Well, Cindy has a knucklehead, so let's let Cindy have a knucklehead of the week.
So Deb Haaland, Secretary of the Interior, absolutely fabulous. And yet they have to oppose her. And they call her radical ideas. Saving sacred spaces, radical idea. Stopping the pipelines, radical idea. I think they're scared of a Native woman in charge of something that's supposed to be a Native entity for Native Americans, but no. One senator, I'm going to read his name because I want to make sure I got it right. Senator Steve Daines, Danes, says he will block her from becoming Secretary of Interior. There's 15 senators that are trying to block her. There weren't even that many people against the choice for the head of the DOD. I mean, Secretary of State. Realistically, it looks like they're setting themselves up for a war against Deb Haaland. And is it because she's Native? Because everybody says, oh, she's so radical. She is not radically left. So just what's going on here? Because it's really one little Indian woman. You can't let one little Native American woman in without making a deal about it. Just one. That's all we want, Ed, one.
No, we want.
So we're starting out with one. We get one in.
We want at least one. We want more. But I agree with you. Whatever his name is from
Steve Daines.
Knucklehead of
Daines.
the Knucklehead of the month. I don't know. There'll probably be more that will outdo what he is. So I don't want to say Knucklehead of the year quite yet.
Well, stay off Twitter if you're a politician. We don't want to hear your stupid thoughts. We don't care who you think is to the radical left. Do your job, accept your president's cabinet positions, and move on.
I'll let you have this political rant.
I'm done.
I've
been watching the impeachments. Woo!
We don't want to go there.
No.
Did that, Kenny? We're out for this week, and we'll see Nick. Hopefully, we'll have another guest for you next week.
We have a couple guests coming up. We're hoping to invite our partners at Kona from Union Pacific down to spend a little time with us.
Well, once we confirm things, then we'll say, not unlike Cindy, like to just. We'll confirm it before.
Is this what I like to do? Is this really it?
That's Cindy.
If any of my friends are watching, please go at Ed's Facebook and comment on this.
We'll give a shout out to our listeners real quick in their comments. Kateri says for governor, so for Lance got one vote there. Gretchen says knucklehead, all caps exclamation point, and Kateri again at least one, but We want more. Yes.
Yes, but let's get that one in. Let's let that one little woman in there, people.
All right, well, we'll see you next week. Hopefully, we'll be back. I kind of like this our little COVID setup, Cindy.
You do, because you can say really mean, smart aleck things to me, and I am not sitting right next to you. But you know, COVID's not going to last forever. Eventually, we're all gonna have shots. And please, people, take the vaccine. Please.
All right. Well, we'll hopefully we'll have some more to say about that. But
Bye, Lucas.
we'll
My
see you
grandson better
guys.
be watching.
We're out. Thanks.
Thank you.